very classic split that Europe has had before. It's going to get much worse. And the only way that the people in charge could get away with sustaining their own well-being in a declining empire is if they have two things. Number one, an external threat that allows them to deploy nationalism as an ideological program rather than class conflict between the mass of people losing their social welfare and the ruling class. But ideology alone won't be enough. You also need a military. You need a police and a military apparatus much bigger and much stronger than what you have now. Therefore, the ideal solution that solves both those problems is to make a demon out of Russia, and one that requires you to militarily build up in a hurry, because that'll give you the military to repress your own people. I'm going to go a little farther than I should, but I want people to understand the point. This militarization has nothing to do with Russia. Russia can't take over the rest of Europe, would be crazy to undertake such a project, makes no sense. They don't need it. I mean, I noticed even yesterday the Estonian intelligence department in Estonia issued a document that Russia is not the danger that people think it is. I don't know what happened. Maybe something changed in Estonia, but in Estonia, the idea is gone. For me, I understand this as an American. And why? Because you're replicating American history. The Great Depression in the United States produced in this country a lurch of the working class to the left. The workers in America joined unions the way they never had before. They joined two socialist and one communist party, and the unions and the communists and the socialists all worked together. And you mobilized, and you had a President Roosevelt who had to accommodate, because he wouldn't have been president if he didn't. What happened at the end of World War II was the business community was beside itself. The way that the communists and socialists and the labor movement handled the Great Depression was to punish the ruling class. If you look at all the statistics, inequality in this country dropped like a stone. They were taxed. They were forced borrowing from them. The market was thrown away, and rationing was substituted. World War II. You really whacked the ruling class. And what did you do? You established social welfare. That's when Social Security, our general old age pension system, in the middle of a depression, we passed Social Security. We passed unemployment compensation. We passed a federal jobs program that employed 15 million unemployed people, and on and on and on. And it was so horrible for the ruling class, here we go now, that when the war was over, 1945, Roosevelt dies, the war is over. The business community says, we have got to undo all of that. By the way, that program was called the New Deal, Roosevelt framework, the New Deal. We have to undo the New Deal. How did they do it? By the following: demonizing the Soviet Union and mobilizing a perpetual defense industry that would keep the United States better armed than the whole rest of the world. What Dwight Eisenhower, the last traditional Republican, said we should not do is what they all did. They produced a military which could control the American empire and serve as the foreign danger that would justify a nationalism to erase all of the socialism that had become important. That's what we did. That's what you're going to do in Europe. You're going to do it. That's why the fact that Russia is now not a communist country, that that seamlessly we went from demonizing Russia because it was communist to now demonizing Russia every bit as much, minus the communism. Communism was never the issue. The issue was we need domestically to have that enemy, to use nationalism as the rationale for the military, which we need to use against our own people. Why? Because we're about to take away from them what the last century of struggle by them got for them. And they are going to be very dangerous for us. We're going to face serious upheaval. But Mr. Mertz wants to be sure that you have an enormously enlarged, Wehrmacht, so that you can deal, not with the Russians, deal with your own people. That's your problem. And I don't, at this point,